Dumb all over, a little ugly on the side. Dumb all over, a little ugly on the side. Dumb all over, a little ugly on the side. Because if we're dumb, then maybe God is dumb and even a little ugly on the side. Have you got that? Frank Zappa, he died in 93, but he is almost predicting the human condition from what I've just witnessed. This is part 2 of, well, just let me explain. Again, I don't have access to the internet where I actually live. I have to go elsewhere, and while I'm there, I upload these vlogs and download videos that interest me from YouTube and elsewhere. Now, during that time, if I have time, I comment, and I'm very sorry I don't get enough time to comment on the videos I have seen, but anyway, I apologize for that. And I also deal with the comments that I get on these vlogs, and I thank you very much for the people who comment, and I don't care whether you're for or against. Thank you for watching. But for the people who are supporting me, I, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. The people who aren't supporting me, who call me all sorts, I don't care. I don't care what you call me. I don't care. But thank you for visiting. And maybe you'll see how this is the right way to be. I don't mean looking like this or whatever, but I mean what's happening. I mean the awakening, for God's sake, the awakening. Okay, so this is part 2. Sorry, this is part 1 of, and it's to prepare you for part 2, because if you just go to part 2, well, you can do, but without an explanation, it looks maybe a bit strange. And I've watched it once, but I watched it immediately afterwards, and I was still reacting emotionally. And this is now the following day, and with a when you sleep on something, you can see it in a different way, but I'm not reacting. I can see it in exactly the same way, but I'm not reacting to it as violently maybe as I did. But because I don't have a television, I heard about the fake X. I think space excrement is brilliant, by the way. As a name for what's going on, brilliant. But anyway, I saw listened to on the news the report of what fake X were doing, launching a Falcon Heavy rocket, and the two. That alone is total fucking nonsense. If you think that is real, for a start, if you think that cylinders can land back down, rockets in effect can land back down on their asses, you are dumb all over, a little ugly on the side. You think that is real. Time for bed. But right, okay, so I heard it. I heard it on the radio, and I didn't really think anything of it because they've done things before, and I thought just a bigger rocket went up. I didn't really get the sports car thing. Now, I came back last night with few videos to watch, and one of which was Del's, which I put on first because, you know, I think he just cuts through all the bullshit. And when I actually saw, excuse me, when I actually saw what people would have seen on the television, that's when I reacted like I did. And I did this as a part one, just to explain that that is how I really feel. Of course, that was not an act. I can't act. Well, you know, I don't think I can. I don't know. I've done very little acting in my life. You know, maybe a bit at school in drama or something. But be a tree, yeah, yeah. But when I actually saw that and just thought about everybody all over the world watching that and believing it, that is very upsetting to me. Very upsetting. So then, after I'd made the short video of me crying with, I don't know, well, all the emotions that go along with deception, and you know, there is fear there, there is pity and anger, all those things, and that's how it comes out with me. Now, I've got to also explain that I don't like explaining these things, but a few years ago, 20 years ago, 20 odd years ago now, I had a massive brain bleed due to an accident where I fell off the scaffolding, or a ladder, I think it was actually, whilst carrying a roll of lead. I was doing flashing, and roll of lead up on my shoulder, and the ladder wasn't tied. You know, I can't remember, but this is what was said. And due to this, I had a massive brain bleed, like I say, and they had to take the front part of my skull off, and my eyes out, the bones behind my eyes, dislocate my jaw, and all. You know, I don't like talking about it, but I feel it's necessary just to explain the fact that it's made me very unable to contain my emotions as well as a normal person possibly could. So it's not an excuse, because I don't have to explain myself really. I just think it's pertinent maybe to do that. Enough said on that subject. So then I watched, when I seen what everybody had seen and reacted, I went back to watching the rest of Del's broadcast. And I'm sorry for calling it a show, but you are showing something, and I saw it, and who cares about terminology? It's nothing, is it really? When there's such a big point to get across here. And then I was, you know, Del was ripping the piss, and it was very enjoyable what he was doing. But all the time I was thinking, why aren't people on the streets? Why aren't people rioting over this? Why aren't they demanding that, you know, that demanding something that is real, demanding truth, as you might say, because that is not the truth. So then, then of course, Gav started revealing his past, and of course, I had absolutely no doubt that he was what he said he was, Why should I have any doubts? He was, you know, I don't know. I don't like to say I can tell, but I can tell. And thank you for that, Gav. Thank you enormously. It's all what we're not supposed to do, isn't it? Reveal ourselves online. We're not supposed to do that. But you did, and any of the naysayers there got fucking eat that, you bastards. And then, of course, you start picking the ridiculous spectacle to pieces. We were told all the things about the vacuum of space and what it would be like on the moon. And of course, it's all bullshit because none of it is there. You know, nobody can go to the moon. Space, as the infinite vacuum of space, does not exist. Yet we have to take it apart somehow because it's been given to us as a thing, as a place to go, as the future of mankind, when it isn't at all. It is just a total nonsense. Yet we have to take that straw man, in effect, and destroy it just to make people who are so into it realize that they have been duped. So, like Dell said, the paintwork on the car, for a start, it would have blistered, it would be burnt off. Now, I've heard people say that temperature, the difference in temperature, can only the temperature from the sun, like the heat from the sun, can only be felt in an atmosphere. I don't understand that. So you can't feel it in a vacuum. So I think it's NASA who are sending something to, they're not, of course, but this is what they talk about, sending something to Mercury, and they said it's going to have to be like this because it's, the heat shielding, it's going to have to be immense because they're so close to the sun. So if NASA think it's necessary to put heat shielding on around a piece of machinery, then you understand where I'm getting at. And we were told if you were on the moon, the temperatures would fluctuate between something like over 100, over the boiling point of water, to minus 100 degrees centigrade. Something like that is probably even more extreme than that. Therefore, we always questioned, like the tires on the stupid electric bollocks that they drove around on they didn't, of course, but what they pretended to drive around on the moon with, the moon buggy or whatever it was. So the tires on that weren't rubber. There was some other thing. But there, the air, we see the Elon Musk and his rubber tires. I mean, he is as thick as pig shit. You just have to watch him being interviewed. He is. I mean, pig shit has more brain cells within it than his stupid brain, his stupid head. And he's maybe part of the deception, or he's maybe just so stupid that they're taking him for a ride and they're going to just, chuck him, like they said, throw him under the bus, because he is an ignorant, fool. And if he's being used and he knows he's being used, then he's just a greedy, ignorant fool. So I hope that's gone some way to explaining this, but I feel kind of different this morning. And if they want to try and keep this lie from us, then they're going the wrong way about it. Because anybody who thinks that's real, you've lost it. I'm sorry, but you've lost your way. And all the different angles, camera angles that we see on the car, what's going on there? Have they got selfie sticks with cameras on them? Then we see a shadow of one of the cameras, and it's a big chunky thing like E900. And it's all nonsense, people. Get a grip.